Welcome to the Closed-Minded Podcast, where we read with an open mind in order to close it again on something solid. Hey there, if this podcast has brought value and entertainment to you, would you please consider giving it a 5-star rating in your podcast app? You can even write a quick 2-sentence review. That would really help with getting the word out and letting others know that this show has high-quality content. Unfortunately, most people don't know how to do this. The easiest way is to go to ratethispodcast.com/CMP. And CMP just stands for Closed-Minded Podcast. And that will figure out what device and app you're on, and it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to rate and review the show. So check it out at ratethispodcast.com/CMP. Okay, today we are talking about cryptocurrency. And quick disclaimer here, this episode is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not financial advice, so please don't go out and empty your retirement accounts to buy crypto. I just had to throw that out there. So everybody has heard of Bitcoin and to a lesser extent blockchain, but it can get really complicated really fast, and there's a very deep rabbit hole that you can go down once you get red-pilled by crypto. And sorry for mixing the metaphors there. But here are the most important historical and conceptual things that you need to know if you want to understand the huge shift that cryptocurrency potentially promises to our culture and our society and our economy. So number one, our monetary system currently that we have is broken. We have an economy that's built around the Federal Reserve with no gold standard, and the Fed can manipulate markets, the stock exchange. It can affect whether people save their money versus spend it. They can print virtually unlimited amounts of cash and hand it out to the politically powerful and to the well-connected elites, and that leaves the rest of us holding the bag in the form of higher prices, i.e. inflation, and lower purchasing power of our money. Number two, the government and huge corporations have immense visibility to how we spend our money. Using cash is really the only untraceable way to voluntarily transact with somebody, and that is increasingly hard to do. It's extremely convenient to just swipe a card, but it leaves a record. We've already seen social pressure on payment processors like PayPal, Visa, and others to shut down the activities of people who don't hold approved political opinions. Number three, cryptocurrencies can potentially solve all of these problems. We are still very much in the early stages of this world, but in the future, the following things will be a reality. You'll be able to send money to anyone around the world for almost no fee, privately and securely. Neither your bank, nor your credit card company, nor the vendors that you swipe a card at will have access to your transaction history. They won't be able to show you creepy, customized ads because they won't have your data in the first place. The government won't know how you're spending your money either. The value of your money will not swing up or down based upon the regulatory whims of bureaucrats in Washington. They won't be able to print more cash and thus weaken the value of your own. They won't be able to fund wars without raising taxes, and instead will force the tax-paying public to reckon with the costs. They won't be able to force investment dollars into markets or industries that the public wouldn't otherwise prioritize elsewhere. I've heard it said before, and I don't remember who it was, that we will have a digital currency. The question is, do you want one that is controlled and monitored by the government, or one that is decentralized, secure, and safe from manipulation? So those are the reasons why you should support the development of cryptocurrencies, even if you don't necessarily jump in yourself right away. It's coming, and you need to be ready for it, and you should be happy about it. Well, we're about to get to the interview portion of the show, but before we do that, quick little teaser. If you stick around to the end, I will give you some details on how to get started in the crypto space. It's super easy. It doesn't require any money. You can actually earn crypto tokens, and you don't have to change anything about what you do in the internet. It's very simple, very exciting. Stick around to the end of the show, and I'll give you the details. My guest today is Robert Beadles. He's the co-founder of the Monarch digital wallet, which you can use to buy, sell, safely store all your cryptocurrencies, and even earn interest on them. Robert posts regularly about all things crypto on his popular YouTube channel, Crypto Beadles, which has over 89,000 subscribers. He recently published a short book called The Bitcoin and Blockchain Booklet, The Beginner's Guide to Getting Started with Cryptocurrency. Robert Beadles, welcome to the Closed-Minded Podcast.
Hey, it's my honor. Thanks so much for having me, Seth. Appreciate you.
to start off, there are a lot of crypto reviews and overviews out there. What made you decide to write your own?
It's one of those things where when you're asked the same questions over and over again, or when they have the same pain point over and over again, it's like, I love Bitcoin, I love blockchain, but my parents just don't get it, or my girlfriend doesn't get it, or my husband doesn't get it. I wish there was something out there that was like really just condensed, small, something, very just like bite-sized in crayon with like little pictures and little analogies. It just kind of paints a little picture just so they get the basic understanding. And so running out of places, we do crypto videos all the time for people to explain how crypto works and stuff like that. But that's too much for somebody to, like say, hey mom, hey dad, go over and check out Crypto Beadles YouTube channel, go see him on TV, whatever. And then they learn about a specific project, but that doesn't really fill in the gaps and the blanks for blockchain, right? So I just put together this little 50-page book, and when I say 50 pages, I mean, it's literally, there's 100 and something pages, but the backside of each page is for notes. And so of actual text, there's probably like 36 to 45 pages of text, right? That way anybody can just pick it up while they're on the can, read it, get a much better understanding about Bitcoin, blockchain, all that kind of stuff, and then feel competent in a conversation that they understand what people were saying and kind of, the premise behind everything. So it's just to get people from where they're at now, like, well, I heard about this Bitcoin thing, but I'm pretty sure it's a scam, to, oh yeah, Bitcoin's pretty freaking incredible. It was created by this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. And then they go into it more and they understand it and why it's cool. So that's why I did it. So there's one place I can send people. The last book I wrote, I gave all the money to charity. It's not for money. I'm not promoting this thing. This isn't like, I got some big, huge campaign. I'm trying to make money off a book or a booklet or something like that. It's just to help people, learn more about blockchain, learn more about Bitcoin, and just, kind of help with the education process until crypto gets to a point where you don't have to understand how it works. It just works. You don't know that you're using crypto. You're just using it. But we're still a long ways from there. We're still like in the beginning parts of the internet of sorts. And so it requires a little bit of aptitude, a little bit of understanding. And so I think this kind of helps with at least the first couple steps for people to make that transition into crypto and why it's so cool.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I think, when it gets to the point where the average person doesn't have to understand at all what's going on under the hood, then it just works the way that regular money does, or the way regular money is supposed to work. Then yeah, that'll be the moment that it sort of, it jumps the shark, or whatever you want to call it, once it becomes mass adopted.
Jumps the shark, Fonzie. Huh? All right, that's old school.
But yeah, I feel like I feel like your book does a good job of balancing that, because it's very easy to, you get a couple layers in and this whole world just opens up of complexity, whether you're talking about, cryptography, decentralization, nodes, distributed ledgers, public and private keys, all these things that the average person is going to go, what? Like, I have no idea what any of this means. Well, how can I possibly begin to understand all of this? But they understand currency at the basic level, because they deal with it every day. They get a paycheck. They got to buy stuff. They have a credit card. They swipe something and the money leaves their account. So I enjoyed the way that you were able to sort of straddle tying those two things together, the crypto side with the side that everybody already understands, in order to draw some overviews and parallels. So well done.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it. Yeah. And it's kind of like email back when I don't know if you remember when it came out, people were talking trash saying, where do I put my stamp? How do I lick it? How do I do this? How do I do that? And now people today, can you imagine a world without email? We're not having to wait weeks for correspondence, or the mailman losing it, or it's stuck in the mail or whatever, versus, hey, I just sent an email to Zimbabwe. They got it, responded back to me in like less than a minute. It's pretty freaking cool stuff. That's crypto versus letters.
Yeah. So obviously, if you want to get all the details, you should go read the book. But give me a basic, high-level, few-sentence overview of what cryptocurrency is and how it's different from the dollar.
Sure. So cryptocurrency is a digital currency. All right. So it's something completely separate from, fiat currency, where fiat is usually held and controlled by a government entity. Cryptocurrencies, for the most part, are either like Bitcoin. We don't know who made it. We just use it. Or a cryptocurrency is basically like a stock for a business. So when you think of a business, think of the business as a blockchain. Think of the crypto as their stock. And so each one of these cryptocurrencies Think of it as like digital money. And that's basically what it is. They have different names and jargon and all that kind of stuff, but it's basically digital money that you use a software wallet, something on your phone, something on your computer to send this money back and forth, to you, to your mom, to Netflix, to whoever you want to send it to. It's basically digital currency that happens instantaneously. So with like credit cards, for instance, and I know this is more than a sentence or two, but just kind of painting a little picture with credit cards, people have to worry about things like chargebacks, high transaction fees, days for stuff to settle. With crypto, it happens instantaneous, right? So like in a matter of seconds, you could be getting paid. So if you're, I don't know, you offer some kind of goods or service, maybe you're you have a website or something and a $9, course that you sell to people. Well, if you use a credit card, somebody could, pay you, get the service, and then call the credit card company and say they didn't get the service and do a chargeback. With crypto, that's impossible because once you send it, it doesn't come back. So you could be buying this service. You, the merchant, would receive it instantaneously, never have to worry about chargebacks, and pay less than like 1% in fees versus credit cards. It could be 3% or PayPal or Patreon up to 10, 20%, whatever. So it kind of just changes the whole spectrum. It changes the whole game. It's digital money.
So speaking of chargeback, is there ever a scenario in which that would be needed? Like it's not somebody abusing the system and it actually did never arrive or they didn't send it and they need to get a refund? How would it work with crypto?
So you have things called smart contracts. So if you want to get like super like in the weeds, we can do that. But so I guess in the most simplistic way, if you have something that, say you're going to buy a car, right? And you want to get paid for it. And the car is a piece of crap or something like that. You could use something like Ethereum that uses a smart contract that says, once everything is deemed kosher, everything's cool, then they get the money. If they don't get the car, the money's never sent. If you get the car, you can give it back, whatever. But they have smart contracts that allow for things like that. But the idea behind cryptocurrency is it's a peer-to-peer transaction. So with merchants and things like that, once you have like legit businesses using this, it would be the same thing as using other currencies, right? If you're not happy with a good or a service or something like that, the customer probably doesn't want bad reviews. And so they're probably going to make it right with the customer. If you're using this stuff for drugs or something like that, like everybody's heard about Bitcoins being used for, well, I guess no chargebacks is a good thing for the drug dealers, right? And it's also a great thing for merchants because merchants don't want to have to worry about, giving away, their goods and services for free, losing the money, losing the goods and services, all because of these things called chargebacks. So it eliminates that with crypto, at least Monarch Pay does. And then, being able to take your money anywhere in the world with you. I mean, if you look at it this way, like if you have an ATM card, and there's a lot of times where we'll go to another state and our ATM card won't work. We won't have access to our funds because the bank thinks somebody stole your card. Or you use your card for something and the bank thinks that, somebody stole your card or you shouldn't be buying that. Or maybe they confuse you with somebody else and they freeze your funds. With cryptocurrency, all that stuff's a thing of the past because with something like the Monarch wallet, it's just a digital wallet that you put on your phone. You can put all your crypto on it. You can go anywhere in the world and use it. And then if you want to get a little bit more complicated, you can say, furthermore, you could write down the 12 words that's within that wallet. You could actually delete the wallet, throw away your phone. You can walk across borders, like other countries, whatever you want. And just remember those 12 words or have them written down, put them in another phone, and just like magic, all your money's there. You can't do any of this kind of stuff whatsoever with traditional finance, with traditional money. It's kind of like it frees the world. It's pretty incredible stuff. And as people start using this more and more and they start seeing all the benefits, they'll be like, holy crap, how come we haven't always had this, right?
Yeah. So does that mean that obviously in order for that data to be retrieved with your 12 words on some new device, that means it's stored in the cloud somewhere. So does that mean that I would have to trust you with my data, or is it up there but just totally encrypted? How does that work?
Yeah, no, not at all. It's not on the cloud. It's nothing like that whatsoever. So this is decentralized. So I don't want to, for new people into blockchain, it gets a little confusing, but it's a decentralized network. And so what that means is there's no central party in control. There's no one person in charge of your data. So this blockchain works on its own with all these different unrelated people that are all running the same software. And that data is stored on that network. So nobody has access to it. Nobody can really screw you over. And so when you put those 12 words back in, you're not giving them to Monarch. You're not giving them to me. You're basically putting them into the blockchain network. Exactly. And the blockchain then, gives you access to your funds because you have the private seed or the private key to your public address. So basically, like a public address is like the front of your credit card, and then, or just call it your ATM card, and your private seed and your private key, whatever you want to call it, would be kind of like your PIN code, right? So as long as you know the PIN code, you don't really care about the public stuff. That stuff's up there on the blockchain, just like the front of your credit card, the waiter has it, stuff like that. But anyways, when you put those 12 words into the network, then you have access to all your funds again, even if you lost your phone or you deleted the app or any of that kind of stuff. And you can even put those 12 words on other wallets, on other apps. Anything that's decentralized, your money would appear there as well. Yeah, it allows you to be the monarch. It allows you to be the king, the queen of your finances. It's incredible stuff. And one of the things is people, they get a little confused. They're like, man, this just sounds really complicated, but it's really not. It's just 12 words, right? You keep, and it sounds really silly. Like you're talking about this high tech, crazy software, and I have to use a pen and paper to keep it safe, right? So, anyways, these 12 words, are basically, the treasure map of sorts. You don't ever want to share it with anybody. You don't ever want to lose it. You always want to keep it safe, because if you lost your phone or if you lost your wallet or you deleted the app or whatever, those 12 words bring all your money back just like magic. It's like I said, there's nothing else in the world like this whatsoever in the traditional sector of finance.
So tell me if this description is inaccurate or too simplistic, but the way I understand it is the reason why a distributed ledger is basically secure and safe from fraud is that, I don't know, it depends on the particular coin, the particular ledger, but it gets refreshed every so often. And all of the nodes, all of the different softwares that are keeping up to date with the blockchain have to refresh and download the most recent transactions. And everybody's on the same page in terms of the content of the ledger. And in order to cheat it, in order to fraud, make some sort of fraudulent entry into the record, you would have to basically hack more than 50% of everybody who's holding a ledger in order for that to be the authoritative answer on the blockchain. Is that correct so far?
Yeah, there's things that I could clean up for you in there, but that's basically it. And that sounds confusing for a lot of people, but if you think about it, you've got a bunch of people, strangers, whatever, all running the same code. Mm-hmm. And so the only benefit to them is to be good actors to get paid by the network. And so they're all running this stuff in unison. All the records, all of our data is being stored up there, and it's transparent. So people can see your wallet address. They can't see who you are. They don't know that, it's Seth Simmons, but they know that, maybe 0x135, whatever your public address is up there, and you've got maybe 100 Ethereum in it. It's there for the world to see. And so all those transactions are being logged at the same time by all these different computers. And so it's much safer. It sounds crazy, but it's much safer than somebody like Wells Fargo that has one server, right? They have one place of attack. So if a hacker is able to hack Wells Fargo, they may get all of our money. But to hack like the Ethereum or Bitcoin blockchain, you need a crap ton of money, and you have to take over, like damn near 50+% of the network to even like mess with the chain. But then they could fork it, and then start it all over again, so that like the hack never happened. There's things that they can do. So it's super safe. It's unlike anything that's ever been done in traditional finance, because you have to basically attack thousands of things simultaneously at the same time to take it over. So,
yeah. Okay. So I understand the mechanics of that. I'm glad you confirmed that for me. The question that I have, and I know that this touches on some of the debates around Bitcoin in particular, that specific cryptocurrency and that blockchain that it runs on. As the transaction law gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you have more, every single one of these nodes has to maintain a complete copy of the blockchain. At what point does it get too big that it just doesn't work anymore?
Yeah, that's a valid point. At some point, it could get so freaking big if they stayed with their current mechanisms in place that it would take you like years to download the blockchain to run the code, right?
Right.
But what they're doing is they're starting to do side chains. So not every single transaction is on the main chain. It's on a side chain. And so that would basically free up all kinds of processing power, all the stuff that you need to download. That would be where you don't have to, as they make the blocks bigger, they make the amount of data that you need to store in the blocks smaller. It becomes less and less that's stored on these chains, and less it becomes on these chains. And so we want to have those issues with things like Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, stuff like that. But in theory, if you kept things the way exactly as they are today and you don't upgrade, you don't make any changes, you're right. At one point, it'd just be like, forget this. This is too much data to download.
I'm not particularly worried about it, even though I don't understand all the mechanics of it, just because I know that the sheer amount of innovation in this space is mind-blowing, and a lot of money and energy are being poured into this, especially considering the corruption of the fiat system. So I'm super excited about what they're going to come up with and what the world is going to be like in terms of my wallet in 20 years. Like, it's going to be amazing, and I can't even conceive of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to wait 20 years, but yeah, sure. I think in the next year or something like that, look, you've already got China that's said that they're coming in full crypto. They've already got their own crypto. They've got what do they got? Alipay, WePay, DashPay, all those types of things that are going to be probably using this. You've got the central banks that'll be using this. That's like, I don't know, how many billions of Asians is that? You know what I mean? Using cryptocurrency. That could be like literally in the next day to next year. So that's going to happen, very, very quickly. And you're going to see, like right now, the Federal Reserve is trying to get their stuff out by 2022, I think it is. Libra, Facebook, they're trying to get their stuff out. I mean, it's going to be here much, much sooner than 20 years.
So do you think that at the end of the day, it's all going to shake out and we're going to land on a single primary cryptocurrency for transactions? Or is it going to be a whole bunch of competing currencies that we're using, interoperatively and interchangeably in the future?
Yeah, I mean, look at the currencies we have now. Every country has their own currency. I mean, there's different companies that have their own stocks. I think it's going to be kind of a you're going to have the U.S. It's going to be fighting for dominance, just like they are with the U.S. dollar is kind of the global reserve currency. So you're going to have something like that for sure. But then you're going to have, just like all these other governments that have their own crypto, or they have their own, fiats, they'll have their own cryptos. And I just think what you're going to see is kind of like the evolution from paper to digital. Kind of like when you went from writing checks to using credit cards. It's just kind of this evolution that happens. It's not really a revolution. It's more like an evolution. And I think we're just evolving from, checks to credit cards and things like that. And this is going to be digital currency, and people are trying to wrap their minds around it. But by the time it comes out, and it's here now, but it's mostly here for speculation. Once it's even better and it's more for mainstream goods and purchases, things like that, you're not going to have to like really trip off it. It's just going to be like using a credit card. It's not going to be that big of a deal.
So one of the hallmarks of, the fiat currency systems that are out there today, particularly with the U.S. and the Federal Reserve, one of the downsides to us and the benefits to them is that they can inflate and they can print, and it's a hidden tax, and they can basically do a lot of things in the economy that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do if taxing power was the only thing they could do to raise funds. So it seems to me like at least a cryptocurrency in the form of something like Bitcoin, where there's a ceiling, 21 million Bitcoins, and it's impossible to inflate, that would be a threat to central bankers, and yet they appear to be getting into the crypto space. Do you think that they're going to try to come up with basically to recreate the system they have now, just in a digital version, where they would still have the authority to create and inflate and fund themselves that way? Or are they ceding defeat?
So, like I've said from the beginning, cryptocurrency is the largest freedom or enslaver of the people, right? So it can be total freedom, where they can just go anywhere and have total control of their finances, or it can be the biggest enslaver. So what I mean by that is, imagine China. So now they create their own cryptocurrency, right? So now they can basically mint as many coins or tokens as they want. They can mint as many as they want. There's no stopping them from doing that. Not only would they be able to create as many as they want through inflation, like you said, which erodes wealth, there erodes the purchasing power and asset value of all the different things out there, right? So not only will they be able to inflate their currency, but they're actually going to know who the currency is sent to, what that person does with the currency, what they spend it on, how much they have, all that kind of stuff. And then maybe they're a bad actor. Maybe they're like, Seth, I didn't like your last podcast, so we're just going to freeze up your funds. And they just put a block on your wallet or on your crypto, because all that crypto is going to be like smart tokens, to where they'll be able to like freeze it, bring it back, all kinds of stuff that's coming in the future. They'll be able to do that with crypto. So it makes the dollar, the paper, like super, super safe compared to what could happen with crypto, because it is so technologically advanced. There's so many things that they could do with it. It is truly Pandora's box. It'll either be the greatest, freedom for people, or the largest enslaver. And so you'll have things like Bitcoin, which are incredible, decentralized, where you have people try to, flee to, and then you'll have things like whatever the Chinese cryptocurrency is called, that people have to use there, but they're probably going to be pretty scared to use it.
Man, that's kind of dark. I mean, do you think that we're going to be able to escape these authoritarian crypto regimes?
Have we ever? Have we ever? Look at from the Federal Reserve 1913, the infamous Jekyll Island, where everybody came together and decided, the fate of the U.S. dollar versus, I don't know, you go back to central banks in Europe and everything else. Have we ever been able to escape? All you can do is know their game, know how to play it, and try to figure out how to profit and how to, provide freedom and, safety for your family by being more informed than the other people that just keep calling us crazy. So that's what happens. People, they dismiss things. They dismissed us from 2011 when I got into Bitcoin to 2017. They're like, everybody's hitting me up. What is this? How do I get it? Like, dude, for the last 6 years, you thought I was a crazy person. It's 20,000. It's 20,000. Everybody wants to sell their house and get into it, right? So anyways, this is kind of their wake-up call again before crypto becomes everywhere, before it's more than just for speculation. It's stuff that's used in daily commerce every single day for every single thing that's coming.
Yeah. So speaking of that tends to have been what's happened for the most part, is that it's been used as a speculation tool, which is why it's fluctuated so much. And to some extent, I'm not super worried about that, just because I know that Bitcoin is still really young. And so I would expect there to be a lot of ups and downs until it stabilizes. But, in the meantime, and I know you say in one of your talks and also in the book, you wouldn't, if you think of your crypto like stock, you wouldn't spend Apple stock, a slice of your Apple stock in order to buy a coffee at Starbucks. That you just wouldn't use it that way. And so people are using Bitcoin as a speculation tool and as an investment, as an asset, not as something that they're using to fund their daily transactions. So I guess, how do we cross that bridge? Should we be using, a stable coin or some other currency that's not subject to the same whims that Bitcoin is, in order to try to get people ramped up into doing daily transactions with crypto? Or I'm not really sure where to go with that.
Yeah. So you hit the nail on the head on a lot of things there. So first off, with Bitcoin, it's basically digital gold. So you wouldn't use gold or stock to buy coffee or your beer or any of that kind of stuff, right? You'd use cash. And so where this transition happens, where you start seeing people using cryptocurrency, is when people are paid in cryptocurrency, paid in stable coins and stable tokens. And those are stable because they're backed. They have assets within those tokens equal to, say, a US dollar. So when you have let's just call it a USDC, which is a stable coin. All right. So say you got a USDC, that's supposed to have a dollar of US dollar behind it, backing it. So people would use that to buy coffee, to buy beer, right? Because it's just like using dollars. So if you start getting paid in USDC or whatever that crypto is, you're going to use it just like cash. But if you're having to take your money, put it in stable tokens and stable coins, and then, use that, there's friction there, right? So they don't, you have to really make sure that there's a value proposition there for people to do that, like no chargebacks, low fees. It's like, okay, well, if I put my dollars into stables and then I use something like Monarch Pay, that means that I'm going to be paying less than like 0.5%, 1% on these purchases versus 3%, and there's no chargebacks, and I'm in control of everything. They'll make that transition, but not as much as when you start getting your paycheck in USDC or something like that. So once we start getting paid in stable coins, stable tokens, just like dollars, even though they're digital, that's when it's over. Any chance that you had to like really get in and do something cool now is probably too late. So this is kind of like, it's building up to that point where we're almost there, but we still have about another year or two before we get there.
You've mentioned Monarch and Monarch Pay a couple of times. Give me a brief overview of that and tell me specifically how I would use it, not as a vendor, but as a consumer.
Sure. So we created Monarch Wallet for the people. So basically, you are the monarch. You are the king or queen of your finances. It allows you to buy, send, sell, store, receive cryptocurrencies, earn interest on them, track your portfolio, read the news, all that kind of stuff. Control 100% of your seed and your key. So only you are in charge of your money. Nobody else can mess with it. Then we created Monarch Pay for the merchants. And so Monarch Pay is simply a platform that merchants can use today that allows them to accept cryptocurrencies for payments. And in accepting these cryptocurrencies, these stable coins, they don't have to worry about the volatility of like Bitcoin going up and down 85% because they're stable. So you're using stable coins to transact business. They have instant settlement. So they're not waiting, 7 days for the credit card processing company to send them money, or then there's about 0.5% to 1% fees. So for merchants, they can get murdered in fees. So that's no longer an issue. And then chargebacks are completely gone. And this just integrates with all the other stuff that they use. So it's not like you have to take this over credit card or this over PayPal. You can take credit card, you can take PayPal, and you can take Monarch. It just gives them one more area or one more avenue to collect money, because a lot of merchants, especially if they're online, they may only have Stripe or PayPal. And if PayPal shuts down their account or Stripe shuts down their account or freezes their funds, they're out of business. So this is just another tool in the belt that they can use today and start getting into cryptocurrency.
So I guess if I'm the vendor and I've just received, a handful of some sort of stable coin, to pay for something, are they typically keeping that currency in the crypto form, or are they converting it to dollars, or does it depend? Is there a fee to convert it back into dollars? Like, are they paying a transaction fee on that side as well?
Yeah. So, a lot of great stuff there. So currently right now, a lot of people do that. They get their stable coins and then they're just in a rush. Like, I just got to get it back into paper money. It's like, why don't you just start using merchants, your vendors that accept cryptos? And next thing you know, they're accepting crypto. They're paying people in crypto. They're paying employees in crypto. And boom, all those conversion fees, everything is a non-issue. But there's still the mentality of people that thinks that this is just digital tokens. It's not real money. And so I better put it into paper money as quick as I freaking can, right? Even though each one of those tokens are backed by, $1 of paper. So, but yeah, you're right. If they're running back to paper, then there's going to be conversion fees. There always is, just like with any kind of bank. So there's network fees, all that stuff. It's like another 1% or something, and it'll start eating them up. But if they just keep it in crypto and start paying their people in crypto, paying other vendors in crypto, and there's tens of thousands of places that they can do this with, it's a non-issue. They'll basically be free in literally like the first day. You know what I mean? As far as from like the traditional confines of financial instruments that they're used to using. It's a game changer. They just don't understand it yet.
So in one of your videos, you made reference to like the ability to pay for your Netflix subscription with crypto, even though Netflix on their front end doesn't accept crypto, but there's some sort of a means to facilitate that transaction. How does that work?
Yeah, so that's one of the features that we're building into Monarch as well, is to where they could preload kind of like a digital Visa or MasterCard within Monarch. So that way their stable tokens go to like a credit card of sorts, and that credit card is what pays Netflix, even though it's all based on crypto. So it funds a digital virtual credit card, and that credit card number is what then pays Netflix every single month. So that's one of the things that's in the works. We've already created reoccurring payments. So if I want to pay Seth, $10 a month every single month and not have to worry about it, it'll come right out of my decentralized wallet, meaning, I don't have to worry about Monarch or anybody else touching the money. It'll come from me and go to you every single month. First of the month, if you want it once a day, once a week, whatever, you set all those terms and conditions. It takes about 30 seconds. And it allows for recurring payments. This is incredible for merchants because recurring payments is kind of the new business model. Everybody's got something that they're selling, and they want these repeat customers. They want to go back to the well. They, $9 a month for this or for that. The Netflix model, right? Well, with this, it's a decentralized wallet. It's a decentralized payment mechanism. There's nobody in the middle, and the money just goes, from Beadles to Seth every single month without anybody in the middle. Seth or I can turn it off whenever we want because we're like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired of that service. I click a little button, it's over. That's it, and then you move on to do whatever else you were doing. So that again is live today as well with Monarch Pay.
So if I wanted to create like a tip jar for my listeners or something to send me crypto, that'd be pretty easy to do with Monarch.
Super simple. So if you just want a tip jar where it's just a one-time thing, you would just download the Monarch wallet. And then whatever cryptocurrencies you want to accept, you would just paste those links right there into your, right there on your website. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to have some kind of reoccurring tip jar where, I want to get, $2 a month, help me out. Here's a couple different levels, $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. You can generate those links right there in Monarch within about 30 seconds. Take those links, put them right there on your website. Anybody that clicks them, then the money will start coming out of their wallet, $2, $5, $10, whatever it is a month, until they stop or you stop.
That's cool. As a consumer, how do I find vendors who take Monarch Pay?
So, I mean, it's not even like who takes Monarch Pay. It's like finding people that take crypto.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah. So, I mean, there's thousands of places out there like Travala and Purse.io. Like, people don't understand. There's things out there like Purse.io that if you just use crypto there, it saves you anywhere from like 20 to 30% on Amazon. Like, how many people use Amazon? A crap ton of people, right? But if you're using crypto and you use it on Purse.io, which is the gateway into Amazon, that's their gateway that they've created. It saves you 20 to 30 something percent. It's incredible. And there's, all you have to do is just type in, where's crypto accepted, or crypto stores, or people that take crypto, stuff like that. And there's, I can't mention them all. There's literally, tens and tens of thousands, if not over 100,000 places now. Easy.
Wow. Well, I want to ask you a couple questions about you personally. In all your profiles around the web where you've got a bio, you go out of your way to identify yourself first off as a Christian. So tell me about what that means to you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, definitely a Christian. I owe everything to God. Yeah, he's very much alive and well, and I know that I have everything that I've done I owe to him. So, yeah.
Did you grow up as a Christian, or did you come to faith as an adult?
No, I kind of grew up that way. Yeah, my parents, were Christians. I did go to a Christian school here and there, but yeah, as I grew up and got older, I just realized, especially through education, through learning, through things that have happened, in my life, stuff like that, I just came to understand that, yeah, he's very much alive and well. And there's a lot of people that give me crap for it, or especially in tech. It seems like everybody in tech is an atheist. So I'm definitely a unicorn when it comes to that. Everybody I speak to, they're all just thinking we came from, apes or something, from 40 million years ago or something like that.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. I was going to say, do you get any pushback in tech for being an outspoken Christian?
Yeah, a little bit, but I never back down. And I mean, if you just look at some of the things that that they say, everything from evolution, how we came from, I don't know, monkeys, right? So okay, if we came from freaking monkeys, how come monkeys still are monkeys? And how come a can of peanut butter is always a can of peanut butter? And how come it doesn't evolve into, I don't know, a Lamborghini? And if you really are going to create this beautiful thing that we have called life and the earth, how do you slam two rocks together and create this incredible world that we live in with all these different things you can tell came from some master creator, some kind of design that nobody can replicate by any means whatsoever. So, I mean, when I hear their I guess arguments or things like that, it's just there's nothing that they can say to change my mind, and there's nothing that they can do to change my mind, and there's nothing they can show me to change my mind, because they can't even replicate the very thing that they say happened is to where we are and why we are here through evolution. Nothing evolves.
Have you met Joel Comm?
Bad Crypto Podcast. Yeah, I've met him a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had him on the show a couple of episodes ago. He's a good guy, also a Christian, and has had pushback as well. So he talks about that too.
I like him already.
So I'm curious about how your politics intersects with getting into crypto. Were you, I guess, did you get into it through libertarianism, fiat, Federal Reserve type of understanding of history? How did politics intersect with your entry into all this?
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, I never wanted to be a politician, and I've never been a politician. I wrote a book called Here's What You Do. Like I said, God's blessed me. We've made a lot of money. We have one of the largest construction service companies in California, software company that builds stuff for the people like the United States Post Office, real estate investment companies, all kinds of stuff. We stay very, very busy. We're very, very blessed. Anyways, people kept asking me, how'd you do it? So I wrote a book called, Here's What You Do. And I gave the money to charity. And, anyways, enough people got together and they're like, yo, we want you to run for office here in the Valley. And I'm like, I really don't know anything about, politics. Everything that I know is probably, it's going to come off as crazy in a public setting, right? If you go out there talking about ending the Fed and everything else, it's difficult to get people to rally behind you, but people actually did, and they wanted me to do it. And so as I started to do it, I quickly realized that, it really wasn't for me. And so I helped another guy get elected instead. I promoted and pushed him and paid for a bunch of his campaign and hired people to do all the stuff because I figured he'd be better at it than I am. And I didn't want to be a politician. So after I started, wading in the waters a little bit, I realized, man, there's just no way to stay clean. There's just, I have to look at myself in the morning, got to answer to God one day. And this isn't what I want to do. And it's not right for my family. So anyways, I'm glad that there's people out there that want to be politicians, but that's definitely not me.
One other thing, you give away $100 in crypto with just about every video you post on YouTube. Tell me about how that you came up with that idea and how do you fund it?
Yeah, well, like I said, God's been good to me, man. So, but in the very beginning, I had friends and family that asked me to create, these crypto videos for them, right? They wanted to know, how do you buy, send, sell, store, receive crypto, all that kind of stuff. Where do you go? How do you do it? All that kind of stuff. And so I did these videos for them, and I wanted them to basically be able to interact with crypto without having any financial obligation or responsibility. They're no fear of loss. So I was giving them crypto to play with. And so on every one of my videos, I just kept that tradition. I just give away $100 so somebody can get into crypto on my dime. Or if they're already in crypto, a lot of my audience, only 30% of my audience is in the US. The other 70% is, in all different parts of the world. And some of them are very poor. Yeah, some of them are very poor. And so that $100 goes a long freaking way in some of these countries. It pays for tuition, it pays for medical bills, it pays for all kinds of stuff, foods, just all kinds of stuff it pays for. And so it's pretty incredible getting hearing these stories and getting the videos back and the messages and how it's impacted their lives and things like that. And so, we just kept it. We just kept it going. And on every video, we give away $100. On Twitter, I give away $100. On different tweets, I give away $100 in my Telegram group just to get people into crypto. And, it's just funded by me.
Very cool. It's a great marketing tool. I'm sure that's really helped funnel the growth of your YouTube channel. You've only been on it for 2 years, I think. 2 years today, right? We're recording this on December 23rd. I was on your YouTube page earlier and it said you started it December 23rd, 2017.
Sounds about right. Very cool.
All right. Well, other than reading your book, of course, what first step would you recommend to somebody who wants to dip their toe into crypto?
Well, I guess they just have to ask themselves, why are they doing it? Are they doing it because they want to be financially free, they want to be a monarch, or they want to make a quick buck, right? So if they want to make a quick buck, they better do a lot of research. All right. So they better, understand what it is they're investing in, the company they're investing in, because every crypto is basically a company. It's just like stocks. So just throwing a bunch of money at stocks, you're probably going to get wrecked, right? So if you're going to start speculating in crypto, you got to do your own research. You got to make sure you know what you're doing. Don't just go all in on something because you'll probably end up broke. So I would say that, start off by, watching YouTube videos, learn as much as you can, about what it is you want to do in crypto. And so that way you're actually able to do that. Right. So if you're like, I want to learn more. Okay, cool. Just type in crypto on YouTube, find some people that you resonate with, listen to them, but don't just go all in when they say to do something. Use your own mind to, just like you would in any kind of financial decision. And if you aren't qualified to make decisions like that, always, get a financial expert or something like that before you ever, make any kind of investment. But one of the cool things is just actually download a wallet like Monarch and just get some free crypto, like from Monarch. We give away crypto every single week, and just start using it. That would be like my biggest thing, is just start using it. The Monarch wallet is free. Monarch Pay is free to use. When you use Monarch Pay as a merchant, it costs like 0.5% or 1%, but you can go there, you start using it. You can download the wallet for free. You can go and earn Monarch tokens at monarchwallet.com. We have contests there all the time, and they don't have to worry about losing any money. It's simple, very simple stuff. Just start using it, try it out. If they like it, learn more. There's tons of stuff out there that they can read, tons of stuff out there they can watch. Literally, today with the internet, with YouTube, good God, there's just so much information out there. Just start by using it.
Where can people find you online, or is there anything you want to plug in general for people to get interested further?
I'm easy to find. So it's just Robert Beadles on Twitter. It's Crypto Beadles on YouTube. And that's Beadles. Right there on YouTube. We have Crypto Beadles group on Telegram. We've got I'm the face on Biz TV for Crypto Beadles. That's like 46 million households. We're in there. So we got that. I'm on TradingView Sessions. I'm the face of TradingView Sessions, or that's TradingView, the largest, trading platform out there. So, I'm very, very easy to find.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, Seth. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. God bless.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that discussion with Robert Beadles. You can find all the details of everything we talked about at closemindedpodcast.com/13. The show notes page there has got links to his YouTube channel, his website, his Monarch Pay and Monarch Token website that you might be interested in, and most importantly, the booklet that he wrote about getting started with crypto and explaining what all the terms mean and how they all work. Highly recommend that. Again, closemindedpodcast.com/13. One of the ways you can jump into an extremely practical, simple way to use crypto and blockchain technology is with your normal internet usage. I highly recommend the Brave browser. It's built on the same technical backbone as Chrome, and so the user experience is really similar, but it doesn't have all the spyware that Google adds in. And trust me, if you are using Chrome, you should stop immediately. Over 50% of the data that comes through when you browse the internet is for ads and tracking scripts. Brave automatically blocks all of these, which does wonders for your load time and for your data usage, especially on mobile. Brave has its own private crypto token that it uses to pay users for viewing ads. Think of it as a frequent flyer mile style of reward point. Yes, you can actually get paid to view ads instead of having your attention and your private data getting traded like a commodity by big tech and by 1,000 creepy marketing agencies. All of your browsing data is private. You can use the crypto tokens that you earn with Brave to either cash out for yourself or, and this is really cool, you can use it to quote-unquote tip the various websites that you frequent to support them for making quality content. Already, tens of thousands of content creators are in the Brave Creators Program, and you can reward them directly with the crypto that you earn as part of your natural browsing habits. It's all private. It completely inverts the financial model of internet traffic and advertising that's grown up around us over the last 20 years, and I think it is really cool. You can even help this show out by trying Brave. Just go to closemindedpodcast.com/brave to go download it. It's available for desktop and for mobile. Again, that's closemindedpodcast.com/brave. Well, that'll do it for episode 13. Hope you enjoyed it. And with that, go forth and read widely. We'll see you next time.